Have you ever noticed that the moment you start to change, the people around you get uncomfortable? They laugh at your new habits. They warn you not to go too far. They tell you to be realistic. But deep down, they are not worried about you. They are terrified of themselves. Because your growth exposes their stagnation. Your courage exposes their fear. Your awakening reminds them that they are still asleep. And here is the truth no one dares to say. A powerful mind is dangerous. It threatens mediocrity. It terrifies the herd. And if you choose this path, you will lose friends. You will be judged. You will be misunderstood. But you will also become untouchable. Stay with me, because in the next few minutes, I will show you why suffering is the key to power, why illusions must die before freedom can be born, and how to build a mind that no one can ever break. Have you ever wondered why true change feels like betrayal? When you decide to wake up, the world around you reacts as if you committed a crime. Suddenly, people pull away. They laugh at your new habits. They mock your seriousness. They label you extreme. But you are not extreme. You are alive. And your aliveness disturbs their sleep. Think about it. How many times have you seen this at work? A colleague who decides to raise the bar, who refuses to gossip, who delivers excellence while others coast along. Does he receive applause? No. He receives whispers behind his back. He receives jealousy disguised as humor. Why? Because his standards expose their mediocrity. His discipline reveals their excuses. Or in relationships. The moment you set boundaries. The moment you say no. The moment you refuse to be taken for granted. Suddenly, you are accused of being cold, selfish, difficult. But what is really happening? You have stopped playing the role they wrote for you. And people hate when the play changes mid-season. Families do it too. When you grow beyond the life they understand, they feel abandoned. They tell you not to take risks. They caution you to stay safe. But the truth is, your courage forces them to see the limits of their own choices. So they prefer you small, predictable, familiar. And that is why loneliness begins to creep in the moment you grow. But here lies the hidden law. If your growth does not create resistance, it is not growth at all. If your evolution does not disturb someone's comfort, then you are not evolving, you are decorating the same prison cell. This is why Nietzsche warned us that transformation does not come from comfort. It is born in chaos. Think of nature. The storm that uproots trees also clears the way for new life. The earthquake destroys but also reshapes the earth. Fire devours forests, but fertilizes the soil for stronger growth. The same is true in your life. You did not grow from the easy years. You grew from the breakups, the failures, the betrayals. You grew when you were forced to crawl through the ashes of your old self and rebuild with your own hands. Pain is not punishment. Pain is the sculptor. But most people do not let the sculptor work. They numb themselves. They binge distractions. They medicate the ache. They run from the very fire meant to forge them. And so they remain soft, fragile, easily broken. Ask yourself, what were the hardest nights of your life, and who did you become afterward? The heartbreak that shattered you, did it not also reveal your resilience? The job you lost, did it not also force you to discover skills you never knew you had? The betrayal that cut you, did it not also carve out a deeper wisdom? Growth hides in suffering. And suffering is the key to strength. But chaos alone can consume you if you do not have a center. Nietzsche knew this. That is why he shattered the illusion of divine comfort. For centuries, people believed a higher authority guided everything. That suffering had a reason. That life had a Puritan script. It was comforting. But it was also a cage. Because when you believe someone else holds the script, you never dare to write your own. So Nietzsche killed God. Not to celebrate. Not to mock. But to awaken. He was not destroying faith. He was destroying excuses. When God is dead, you are left alone. And in that silence, a terrifying truth echoes. No one is coming. No one will save you. No one will hand you meaning. At first, this feels unbearable. A collapse. a cosmic abandonment. But if you survive it, if you refuse to crumble, something extraordinary happens. You awaken to radical freedom. No pre-written plan. No celestial safety net. Just you. And the raw, terrifying power of choice. This is not weakness. This is liberation. Because now you are not a follower of commandments. You are a creator of values. You are not a servant to tradition. You are a builder of meaning. And with this realization comes fire. The fire that says, I will rise even while bleeding. The fire that says, I will carve purpose from the chaos. The fire that whispers, I am not here to be saved. I am here to create. And in that moment, you begin to step into a different kind of humanity. Nietzsche called it the Bermensch, the Overman. The Overman is not a superhero. He is not mystical. He is simply a human who has killed his illusions and survived. A human who no longer begs for permission. A human who no longer fears the crowd. The Overman does not ask, is this allowed? He asks, is this worthy of me? Think about that question in your own life. At work, the average man says, is this in the handbook? The Overman says, does this build greatness? In relationships, the average man says, do they like me? The Overman says, do I respect myself? In life, the average man says, will they approve? The Overman says, will I honor my truth? This shift changes everything. Because the Overman does not adapt to the world. He imposes meaning on it. He does not beg for comfort. He pursues greatness. He does not live as a shadow. He lives as a creator. But becoming this kind of being requires sacrifice. You will lose people. You will lose certainty. You will lose illusions that once kept you warm. Yet on the other side is untouchable power. The power of silence as a weapon. The power of boundaries as shields. The power of independence as a crown. And this is why society fears the strong mind. Because the strong mind cannot be controlled. How do you manipulate someone who no longer fears rejection? You cannot. How do you enslave someone who no longer craves approval? You cannot. How do you silence someone who no longer depends on the herd? You cannot. And so the Overman is dangerous. Dangerous to the system. Dangerous to mediocrity. Dangerous even to his former self. But the question is, are you ready to pay the price? Because it is easier to stay asleep. Easier to scroll. Easier to blame. Easier to wait for rescue that will never come. But if you are tired of being hostage to your insecurities, if you feel the rupture inside demanding more, if you are ready to walk through chaos and claim your crown, then this is your path. It will be lonely. It will be brutal. But it will be transformative. It will turn weakness into weaponry. It will turn pain into power. It will turn you into someone untouchable. So ask yourself, will you remain a servant of illusion? Or will you rise as a creator of truth? The choice is yours. Now let us bring this down to the real world. What does it actually look like to walk this path in daily life? Picture the workplace again. Meetings filled with endless chatter. People nodding, smiling, agreeing with the boss just to stay safe. Then there is you. You do not speak often. But when you do, you cut through noise with clarity. You refuse to flatter. You refuse to hide behind jargon. Your silence disturbs them. Your words expose them. You become the one voice that shifts the room. That is what it means to weaponize silence. Not passive. Not weak. But deliberate. Silence that commands more respect than shouting ever could. Or imagine your relationships. You stop explaining every boundary. You stop apologizing for your needs. You simply draw the line. Calm/firm. Unmovable. At first, they resist. They call you difficult. But over time they learn. The boundary is steel. And steel commands respect. That is what it means to use boundaries as shields. Not walls of isolation. Shields of sovereignty. And in personal growth, you stop consuming endless motivational fluff. You stop waiting for inspiration. Instead, you deliberately expose yourself to discomfort. You train when tired. You study when bored. You face rejection without collapsing. You become the soldier who trains in mud, so the battlefield feels light. This is not glamorous. It is not pretty. But it is power. And as you live this way, you will feel the herd drift away. Friends who cannot handle your standards will disappear. Colleagues will call you intimidating. Family will tell you, you have changed. Good. Because all transformation begins with separation. The seed must break from the soil. The bird must crack the shell. The snake must shed the skin. You cannot be reborn while still clinging to the old. So, embrace the exile. Because it is not exile. It is elevation. This is why Nietzsche's philosophy is not abstract. It is practical psychology. It is about breaking the dependency that enslaves the majority of people. Dependency on approval. Dependency on authority. Dependency on illusions of comfort. And once you break free, you realize something terrifying and liberating at once. You are responsible for everything. Your career is not fate. It is your choices. Your relationships are not destiny. They are your standards. Your growth is not luck. It is your discipline. And suddenly, the excuses vanish. No one can be blamed. No one can be praised. You are both the problem and the solution. This realization is heavy. But it is also the key to sovereignty. Because when you stop outsourcing blame, you also stop outsourcing power. You stop waiting for the boss to notice. You stop waiting for the partner to change. You stop waiting for the world to hand you permission. You act. You create. You impose meaning on chaos. And in that act, you transform. Transformation is not about smiles and affirmations. It is about standing in the fire without collapsing. It is about becoming so strong that nothing outside you can dictate your inside. Imagine losing your job, but not losing yourself. Imagine being rejected, but not being broken. Imagine being alone, but never feeling empty. That is the strength of the unbreakable mind. And here lies the final call. The world does not need more agreeable followers. It does not need more fragile egos. It does not need more people addicted to comfort. It needs warriors of the mind, builders of meaning, dangerous individuals who refuse to kneel. So let me ask you directly. Will you continue to live in the illusion? Will you keep decorating your prison cell? Or will you walk into the storm, embrace the chaos, and emerge forged into steel? The choice is heavy. The path is brutal. But freedom is on the other side. Rise. Not tomorrow. Not someday now. Because every moment you delay, the chains grow tighter. But every step you take today, no matter how small, pulls you closer to sovereignty. So rise. Embrace chaos. Kill illusions. Become the creator. The Overman is not out there. He is not mythical. He is waiting within you. And he will be born the moment you stop waiting for the world to change and decide to change yourself. So now you know. The world will not hand you freedom. It will hand you chains. It will reward your obedience. It will punish your rebellion. But every great transformation in history began with someone who chose exile over comfort, chaos over illusion, and truth over safety. You are not here to be liked. You are not here to be ordinary. You are here to rise above the herd and create yourself from fire. And the moment you stop waiting for permission, the moment you stop fearing rejection, the moment you decide to impose meaning instead of begging for it, everything changes. From that day forward, nothing outside of you can break what is inside of you. This is your call, your invitation, your challenge. Do not just leave this video inspired, leave it transformed. Because the weak will keep scrolling, but the dangerous will rise. And now you must decide. Which one are you?